This is Dave with Taboo Customs. This video today, we are going to be talking about TJ clock springs. So let's get started. All right, so this will not be an install video. We're going to go over the clock springs themselves, some differences, because we frequently get questions about either different years or using a non-cruise control clock spring on a cruise control Jeep, or putting cruise control on an earlier year Jeep. You know, that is something that we'll work to cover here. Now, we are going to only cover the 97 through 2002 TJs. The reason being is that there's some similarities between the clock springs in those years. However, there are some big differences. The 03 to 06 TJs, those years the electrical system was different. The connectors are very different. There's not any real interchangeability and no, it'd be hard to question. I can understand, and you'll see why there could be some questions between these years, but that year's very much different. So let's talk about some of the common features and some of the differences with these clock springs. First, let's talk about the physical dimensions of these clock springs. Now, if we take a look at these clock springs, you can see that physically there's the black outer shell, and you've got this green inner piece that spins. Now, we'll say that this black outer shell, from everything we have seen and can see with these, is all the same, including the pieces that kind of lock it in. And that's something that if you're buying clock springs, check and make sure those aren't broke. A lot of times shipping them, those can get broke if the box gets thrown around. But the black piece here is all the same. The connectors here that go down into the column, those also, from what we can see, are all the same in all four of these clock springs. So from 97 to 2002, that remained the same. Now, there was a big physical difference, though, for your 01 and 02 TJ folks, and that has to do with the green piece in the center that spins. Now, if we look at that one there, which is an 01 to 02, versus our 97 to 2000 TJ and 2001 XJ, you can see that the hole size is very much different. So that is why on your 2001, 2002 TJs, you can't go back and use one of the earlier clock springs unless you want to perhaps try to Dremel that out, but honestly, we wouldn't recommend that. Moving on to the electrical side, and we'll also talk about the cruise because that's the big difference here. The electrical side, all of the connectors for the specific items, let's say the airbag connector here, same for all of these clock springs. The spade connector here, same for all the clock springs. The cruise control connector for the ones that do have cruise is, at least on the 97 to 2000s, is this green connector. Now, the weird thing about, and you 2001, 2002 TJ folks watching this are probably finding this out, is that as you go through here, Jeep, when they set up the cruise, from what I understand, they didn't have cruise control until 2000. They didn't offer it as an option. However, the wiring is actually in the harness apparently for it, but they didn't have the option in there from what I understand. So you can go back in your pre-2000 TJs and look at adding it if you can get all the components to do that. And then you can also use one of these 2000, which will work on the 97 because it has the right size hole and it has the wiring in it. However, the issue comes whenever you get to 2001 and 2002. This right now, from what we understand, is the only clock spring available for the 2001, 2002 TJ. And you can see that it does not have a cruise control connector on it. And you folks looking for one have probably found out that you cannot easily find a 2001, 2002 cruise control clock spring. Really weird. Don't know why. But right now, that is kind of how it is. We are working on a solution for that to provide a 2001, 2002 TJ clock spring with cruise control. However, we're in the midst of testing that, so I don't have that here. Not going to show it to you. But if you are looking for one, watch the description of this video. Once we have that available, once we have it squared away, we'll have that in there if we can get everything completed on that and get it going. Anyway, but that's the weird thing. All these clock springs have all of the wiring, have everything that's pretty much the same on all of it, including, and this is also odd, and I don't know, and someone can let me know in the comments or below, if you look at what's listed as a 2000 or let's say 97 to 2000 TJ with cruise, that there's 3 wires, versus a 97 to 01 XJ with cruise, physically they appear to be exactly the same. Now, oddly enough, this one's a little bit cheaper, the XJ1. If you go by the TJ1, I think it costs a little bit more. However, from what we can tell, connectors, physically, everything the same. Unless there's a difference in the ribbon inside, or maybe the resistances, or maybe because of the CAN bus communication system back and forth, they look exactly the same. We haven't tried putting an XJ clock spring in a TJ, but I think other people out there have. So if you have, let us know what your results were with that, and if that worked correctly, because you may be able to save yourself a few bucks buying this XJ clock spring versus the TJ, because for some reason, I don't know if it's demand, the TJ one is a little bit more expensive. One thing I don't know if we clearly answered was the question about, if you have a cruise control Jeep, can you put a non-cruise clock spring in it? And the answer to that is, if you have the correct clock spring, yes, you can. You just basically will not be able to use your cruise control because you obviously don't have it wired in. But as long as you've got that physical correct clock spring, it will work correctly. So for those folks out there with the 2001, 2002 TJs that they can't find that cruise control clock spring just yet, you can use this clock spring. You just won't have cruise, unfortunately. Now, as we mentioned, keep watching our website, taboocustoms.com. You can watch this description. Hopefully, once we have a solution for that 2001, 2002 TJ with cruise clock spring, we will have those there. So everybody, thank you for watching. As always, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated, and you can check out our website, taboocustoms.com, for a lot of rust repairs, skid plates, and different things that we're selling there for Jeeps. So thank you.